Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, March the 30th, race number 7 at Tampa Bay Downs. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. This is a $20,000 starter allowance. Let's take a look at this field. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the race of the day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Of course, you could play this race in the entire Tampa Bay card on Wednesday with your DRF Bets account. Sandy Lane Kitten, 2-1 on the morning line, Mike. Consistent, hasn't won recently.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I think they've probably got the right favorite, Dan. Yeah, he's 2-1. You're right. He hasn't won since these connections claimed him last summer, but his form's held up pretty well, and he's just got such good tactical speed. It feels like there's a great trip coming from the rail.
And I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to agree with Timeform US as we put up our pace projector. Sandy Lane Kitten, likely breaking from the inside post, is going to be sitting a pocket trip in second. And Fly Away, who might have gotten cooked on a fast pace when battling with the eventual winner, might get away with an easier trip on the lead this time.
It feels like he'll probably make the lead. He certainly has enough speed to get there. We'll see if he can hold on this time, because that's been a problem for him.
As for Sandy Lane Kitten, his last 4 starts, he's earned buyer speed figures between 81 and 85. You'd think that a number in that range would make him very tough. Let's watch his most recent start on March the 4th. I thought, Mike, it was overall a pretty good effort for Sandy Lane Kitten, who was sitting the pocket trip most of the way, comes to the outside. He has a big chance, just can't get to the favorite Driftwood.
Yeah, Driftwood made the lead in here. Sandy Lane Kitten had a really nice trip right behind him. And as you say, he had dead aim here in the stretch, Dan. He's just not good enough to get by this horse at the end. There are no excuses for him, except that, you know, maybe this Driftwood is just a little bit of a better horse than Sandy Lane Kitten is. He had to settle for second.
And I think if you're banking on Sandy Lane Kitten on Wednesday, you're hoping that that's the case. Simply Driftwood is better, and maybe better than the speed that he's going to face on Wednesday. A similar trip could be coming this time around. Sandy Lane Kitten might forge by the Pacesetter. A horse that's been very sharp form recently is the number 2, De Craziness. This horse just beat 2 next out winners, and he has won 3 of his last 4 starts. Let's watch the $16,000 claimer on March the 5th at Tampa Bay. I thought all in all, Mike, he got a decent closers trip, saving ground in mid-pack, got to the outside. And he's not going to change leads, but he's going to get it done.
Yeah, he's going to grind this one down. And you're right, he doesn't change leads here, but that hasn't been an issue for him in the past. So it's not something that I think you need to really worry about. And at the end of the day, he wins this race very easily, Dan. He's won 3 of his last 4 starts. All of them, you know, from off the pace, but he's never outrun in those races. And he makes really nice runs around the turn to get himself into contention. I think this horse is obviously a major player right back. A little bit of a step up in class for him, but I think he can handle it.
And unlike the shorter price next door neighbor, Sandy Lane Kitten, this horse is a prolific winner. As I mentioned, 3 of his last 4 starts, 14 wins in his career. The likely pace setter is up next. That's the number 3, Fly Away. And last time out, as I mentioned, battled on the lead with the horse that eventually won that race, got tired. The fractions were fast. I mean, they went 22 and change for the opening quarter. That's too fast for a horse like Fly Away. The runner-up of that race has come back to hit the board twice against starter foes at Tampa Bay with buyers of 82 each time. If this course gets loose, I guess he is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's without a chance in here. I mean, obviously, again, it's been a problem for him to hold on to stretch leads. He couldn't make the lead last time. I don't think you're supposed to hold that race against him. His prior 3 starts, you know, he ran pretty well in those races, but he also had the lead in all of those starts, and he couldn't hold on at the end. And in one of those races, he was in against De Craziness, who just sort of ran him right over in the stretch of that race. I don't know. I certainly don't think he's impossible in here, Dan. His new trainer actually does pretty well off the claim from a limited sample.
New York bred Albie stakes placed a while ago at Saratoga against New York bred. Scored in his first start off the Anthony Ferraro claim. Let's watch that race. Now, this is a conditioned $16,000 seller, while De Craziness has been beating opens. This is a field of non-winners of 3 life, but still, he's last on the rail in the stretch, and then everything opened up for him.
It ultimately worked out for him. He was never really in a great spot, Dan. Was trying to improve his position up the backstretch, but there was just no room for him to do it. And his rider really didn't have any choice but to stay in and hope that he got a run. He stayed in and he got a run. He comes through on the inside and he prevails. This is a tougher race for him. But listen, this is a horse who has back races that would give him a real chance in here if he can pull another trip.
Fourth place finisher from that race, placed in the condition claimer in his next start with a 73 buyer. Outrageous Bet's a class master. He's got plenty of back buyer speed figures that make him interesting. He's banked over $400,000 in his career, and there's a way to look at him and say he's completely dirtied up. His last race was at 1.5 miles on the turf. I've never liked him at those longer distances. The race before that was on synthetic, and the race before that was a sharp 6 furlong race. You go back to his last 3 middle distance races on turf, they're all competitive.
Yeah, they're all competitive and they're all against better horses than this too. So this feels like a great spot for this horse. You know, there was a time, and for a very long time, Dan, they tried to make this horse a sprinter in New York, and he was an effective one. But since they've decided to stretch him out over the last year or so, that's worked out just fine as well. He's just a really good horse, and he's going to get a trip in this race, and this is class relief for him.
And again, those last 3 middle distance races in New York from last year, buyer speed figures 86, 87, 89. They make him very competitive. And because his recent running lines don't look good, that 7-2 is not a pipe dream. There's a good chance Outrageous Bet will be a good bet at decent odds. The 6 is El Samuro. This horse has only raced once on turf, and that was in his career debut, going 1 mile. So we could probably, forgive him for that performance. His recent dirt form is actually pretty good. The question at the end of the day is he really built for turf?
Yeah, I don't know if he is, and I kind of feel like he's not, Dan. I didn't really see any pedigree to make me feel like he was going to be better on this surface. He does have some speed, though, so I suppose he could be part of the pace in here.
Obi-Wan, the number 7, is coming out of the race we showed you before with Sandy Lane Kitten. And in that race, he basically saved ground behind Sandy Lane Kitten in mid-pack and was able to incrementally make up some ground to finish third. I'd like to make a more forceful case for Obi-Wan, but 11 times second, 8 thirds, more of a minor award horse for me.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. I'll just say in that last race, he was always behind Sandy Lane Kitten. You could sort of tell his rider was trying to get him off the inside through the stretch so he could make a run, and he never could really do it. He was always behind horses. He was making up a little bit of ground late when he finally did get clear. Maybe it's enough of an excuse, Dan. He's going to be a price in here.
Cramden, if he wins, the price will send you to the moon. He was really no match for any of these horses last time out. 48 buyer speed figure, didn't do much. Prior races, solid enough buyer speed figures. To me, is the kind of horse, maybe if you give him a little bit of pace. I thought his race 2 starts back was actually interesting.
Yeah, maybe they'll go a little faster in here and it'll help him out. He didn't run well at all last time, but I guess you could just look at him and say he's 30-1 and he's better than that.
We're going to talk a little bit about Van, who is up next. And Van, last time out, second in our starter handicap. The winner of that race came back to run third with this 81 buyer speed figure. That was the first start off the Albertrani claim. Interesting, his barn doesn't claim too many.
Yeah, they don't. This horse didn't really improve for Albertrani, but, he ran another solid race, second in his last 3 starts, Dan. They're not fast races. I kind of feel like this is still a tough race for him, but he's still relatively unexposed. Maybe he improves.
I think it's a tough race because he's still eligible for a non-winners at 2 life, and he's facing some really salty winners in here, especially a horse like the Craziness that's already 14 times, but he does have some upside potential as a relatively lightly raced 4-year-old. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Wednesday race of the day. It can go so many different ways. The 3 has speed. The 2 is a consistent winner. The 1 might get a good trip with consistent figs. Outrageous Bet, though, just seems like the dirtied up horse, with plenty of back class, and certainly is good enough to win this.
Yeah, it definitely is. Listen, if they bet this race along the morning line, pretty easy call for me to take the 5.
I think the trip's coming for Sandy Lane Kitten as it was last time, only this time I think he will be able to strike the front in mid-stretch and might be able to hold off the closers. Mike's going 5-1-2-4. I'm going 1-2-7-9. In the Wednesday race of the day, $20,000 starter allowance at Tampa Bay. Good luck.